Netflix's Unfrosted takes some of its inspiration from a true story, but not all of it. The movie is directed, co-written by, and stars comedian Jerry Seinfeld, so it's clearly a real passion project for him. It follows Seinfeld's character, Bob Cabana, as he recounts a story about the origin of the breakfast food Pop-Tarts when he is picked as the team leader to develop a new food for Kellogg. In addition to Seinfeld's involvement in the movie, there is a whole host of talented comedy actors that appear as well, including Melissa McCarthy, Jim Gaffigan, Max Greenfield, and Amy Schumer, so the audience could tell they were going to get a more comedic spin on a movie instead of something like a drier biopic. That means that Unfrosted can be rooted in reality while still telling a funny and fictional tale. The truth and the fiction that inspired Unfrosted. Most of Unfrosted is actually fiction. Unfrosted features so many gags and jokes that it might seem like it's impossibly far-fetched. There is, however, a kernel of truth to the story. Pop-Tarts were invented by Kellogg in the 1960s to compete with Post's Country Squares, for example. According to 2013's Whole Pop magazine, they also did much better on the market than anyone expected, selling out of grocery store shelves in just 2 weeks, prompting Kellogg to run an ad apologizing for running out of inventory. While that bit of truth might provide a tipping-off point for the movie's story, it's not entirely what inspired the movie. The true story provides a nice framework. The movie was also inspired, like Seinfeld's sitcom before it, by one of Jerry Seinfeld's own jokes. When Seinfeld crafted a stand-up comedy special for Netflix, one of the bits in the special involved him discussing how impressed he was by Pop-Tarts as a child. He remarked how Unfrosted made it to the screen. Seinfeld admitted Unfrosted became a pandemic project. In 2017, Jerry Seinfeld signed a production deal with Netflix. That deal included bringing new stand-up specials to the streamer as well as his interview series Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. In 2020, when film and television productions shut down all over the world as the COVID-19 pandemic prompted a focus on public health and isolation, Seinfeld was quarantined like so many others. It was while isolating that Seinfeld wanted to make something that would make people smile. Seinfeld has always built his stories about what will make people laugh, and he did the same with the idea of a Pop-Tarts origin story. The script was initially sent to auction to see which studios would be interested in making an offer, but per deadline, the fact that he had an established relationship with Netflix is what helped the movie get the green light. How Unfrosted differs from the real story. There are many differences between Unfrosted and the truth. The rivalry that existed in the 1960s between Kellogg and Post is one of the few true aspects of the story. That and Pop-Tarts selling out in record time. Most of the rest of the movie is fictional, right down to how the idea for Pop-Tarts came to be. There was no looking to Post's dumpsters to see what new products they were working on. Instead, Post actually announced their creation of Country Squares months before the product was ready to hit supermarket shelves, via Chicago Tribune. That gave their competitors a chance to develop their own breakfast treat. They then hired William Post, no relation to the rival cereal company, to head up the project, giving him a deadline of 4 months to create the new product, via WWMT News. Though Pop-Tarts went through a lot of names after they were developed, the company decided on Pop-Tart as a nod to the pop art movement of the 1960s, via Fast Food and Junk Food, an encyclopedia of what we love to eat. That idea does get a nod in the movie, though a more satirical one, as Andy Warhol supposedly despises the idea that a breakfast food is taking attention away from his art. No reports of any negotiations going on with heads of organized crime for sugar exist, and the dairy farmers were not actually running their outfits like gang leaders, both of which the movie uses as a way to satirize business operations. Pop-Tarts did, however, grow to be hugely popular with dozens of flavors created after the initial four that debuted in 1964.